All right, I'm live. I'm back. It's 4:03. I'm sorry I'm a little late here. Was just messing around with that little screen, the coming up screen that I was putting up there. This is Alexander Napolin, attorney at large, goes live every weekday, 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. This is my afternoon session. We'll be discussing a current event, and something I found interesting while we were on our break is the Illinois Snapchat lawsuit. It's real. Here's what we know. Okay, so, what to know about the settlement in the case. So there was a settlement for violation of Illinois' Biometric Information Privacy Act. Okay, so apparently there was a lawsuit and now a settlement by Snapchat. So users of Snapchat's biometric or facial recognition technology, okay, through the use of lenses and filters. Okay, so when you use Snapchat, there's also a special lens you can download. I've actually downloaded this lens in the past and used it to modify the features of my face. So that's what we're talking about here when we're talking about biometric information. Snapchat apparently stores this information on their system and then maybe resells it. So the law that is at issue is the Illinois Biometric Information Privacy Act, which I actually pulled up here under 740 ILCS 14 Section 15, specifically states that no private entity in possession of a biometric identifier or biometric information may sell, lease, trade, or otherwise profit from a person's or a customer's biometric identifier or biometric information. Now, there's nothing in this article to suggest necessarily, besides there's a settlement, there's nothing that says that Snapchat admitted to violating this law. Okay, it only says that they deeply value the privacy. It says, Snap continues to deny that lenses violates the BIPA. So not only did they not admit it as part of the settlement, they are continuing to tell the media that they have not violated the Biometric Information Protection Act in Illinois, which is a state act, okay, people? So if you live in a state other than Illinois, you're not going to have the protection of this law, which we just went over, which is the Illinois Biometric Information Privacy Act, which explicitly says, hey, if you're a company and you're able to collect what we call biometric information, and Snapchat, it was alleged that Snapchat's lenses and filters in its application did collect this information, and then it was maybe used to profit. Okay, now Snapchat denies that. Okay, but that's biometric information, your facial features, how you look, things that can unlock your identity. Okay, everyone, my Sony camera is actually overheating because I left it on, and it's like 80-something degrees in here. Hold on. Okay, I'll just leave that off there and let it kind of cool down. Okay, so there's no Biometric Privacy Act in other states, but there is legislation. I looked up in California if there was any legislation in the pipeline, and there is. So not every state has this. It's still stuff that's coming out. I found that there is legislation. There is a Senate Bill 1189. It looks like it is somewhere in draft mode. I'm not 100% certain how to read the notes here. It says held in committee and under submission. That was May 19th. There was a hearing. Prior to that, it had been placed on APPR suspense file on April 25th, and prior to that, it was read second time and amended, referred to the commission on APPR. So that all happened in the last, since April, and now it's placed on suspense file. I don't know if that means it didn't go through or what's going on with it, but in Illinois, there is a Biometric Information Privacy Act, And like the California one would propose, it's going to make selling biometric information illegal. Okay, and expand what biometric information is, it looks like. So biometric information, okay, that is, it goes on to say, at the center of the allegations is Snapchat's lenses features, which allows users to take a snap and then select a particular lens and modify their facial features with special effects, according to court documents. The lawsuit claims lenses involves the use of technology to create a face scan and creating, obtaining, and storing a user's unique biometric identifiers. Okay, so these are the things you use to unlock your phone and your identity and all of that stuff. And that's why these laws are coming into play, because there is privacy concerns that citizens have over how their information is used, especially if it's like a social security number, how you identify yourself. I mean, come on. But again, Snapchat is not admitting to any liability whatsoever. They vehemently deny that lenses violates the Biometric Information Privacy Act. They go on to state that they deeply value the privacy of our community, and Snapchat lenses do not collect biometric data that can be used to identify a specific person or engage in facial identification. So this article goes on to state that there is a deadline for submitting for the lawsuit. That's November 5th. I have no financial interest in this unless, of course, you come to me and you want me to help you identify whether or not you have a class action. I don't know. That's just, you could ask me that question, I guess. I'd have to refer you to a lawyer in your state. Okay. But, you could come to me and maybe I could help you find that information. You just dial 866-NAPLIN or just hop into the chat here, ask the question, just say, hey, how do I contact you? I'll give you a phone number. I guess I should provide a direct message feature. You could go and if you have if you're on my profile there, you could find Linktree or whatever, and you could go find my Facebook profiles or something. Okay, so, no one's really watching this except for maybe Charlie. Charlie's hopefully watching this. He can't see me because my camera overheated because it's so hot in the suite. I guess they turned the air conditioning off, and now it's 80-something degrees in here, and the camera overheated. So, yes, the Illinois Snapchat lawsuit is real. Okay, so there's also a lawsuit against Facebook. So maybe there will be more of these types of lawsuits. Maybe since there's settlements, okay? So the settlements probably aren't that huge. That's probably maybe why the company just went ahead and settled these out. But it says if a company is found to have violated Illinois law, citizens can collect civil penalties up to $5,000 per violation, compounded by the number of people affected and days involved. No state regulatory agency is involved in enforcement. So there's no regulatory agency out there in Illinois saying, hey, we're going to investigate any company and refer over to the Attorney General for criminal prosecution, any violators of the biometric law. It's just private citizens who are allowed to bring private actions and collect civil penalties up to $5,000 per violation, compounded by the number of people affected and the days involved. So I don't know what the specifics are, but if it's $5,000 per violation and you used it on multiple occasions, maybe the statute has a lot more bite than you think, or days involved. I don't know how they went about with the settlement, compounding, how much people are owed. It must take into account that, maybe they didn't actually violate it, or that Snapchat and the big tech companies could appeal it. I mean, if the tech companies are, told to pay some massive amount of money under the Illinois Biometric Privacy Act, I'm sure that they're going to try to find a way to say that act's unconstitutional or something like that, try to fight the act. So maybe that's coming up if this is the first of its kind. I mean, this is Chicago reporting this, Channel 5, saying, hey, is the Illinois Snapchat lawsuit real? Oh, well, that seems to me like it's a surprise, should be a surprise to people that it's actually a real lawsuit. And people are actually surprised. Oh my gosh, maybe actually these big tech companies are actually having to be honest. Maybe there's consumers out there who want to enforce these types of civil penalties. I don't know. I'm thinking to go look and see if there's any type of civil penalties. I'll have to go check to see I'll have to check with Bob Wachowski, our state senator, who's introduced Senate Bill 1189, okay, about whether or not there'd be civil penalties, just like the Illinois statute. Maybe I should go in and read the actual language of our statute. There's going to be civil in there a lot. Oh, an individual alleging a violation of this title may bring a civil action for any of the following relief. Statutory damages, come on. Not less than $100 and not greater than $1,000 per day. I don't know what per day means, but something interesting going on there with per day. How do they calculate that? I'm not 100% certain, but in California, the proposal is to only do $1,000 per day. In Illinois, Snapchat, tech companies, Facebook, facing up to $5,000 per day for a violation of the Biometric Information Privacy Act. It's actually not called that. Well, anyway, the BIPA. Yeah. Biometric Information Privacy Act. Okay, actual damages could also be, and punitive damages, however, reasonable attorney's fees and litigation costs, any other relief, including equitable or declaratory relief that the court determines appropriate. That's a pretty wide range of reasonable attorney's fees and litigation costs. That section has a lot of bite in it. That's going to make some private action very, very, very profitable if a violation is found. Because this information that the that the tech companies are collecting from you, it's your private data, and it comes at a price. They run their companies by collecting this data on you, and they sell this data and they make money, and that's how they're able to offer you services and make money. That's why the tech companies are so rich. I mean, I'm on all their platforms. I'm on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook and on everything I use. So it's, they're necessary, but they also, certain companies are only about the dough and they're only about information. Maybe they don't intend to be about sharing your information and selling it, but let's face it. I mean, if you're the richest company in the world, or one of the richest companies in the world, and all you do is run advertisements, that's what you are. You are a big billboard where people put ads on you and then other people look at it. Right? And then you start to get more sophisticated. You start saying, okay, well, how can I make more money? If I have a huge billboard, there's everybody putting their ad on it, you go, well, I just want to show the ad to the people who are most likely to engage with the ad, most likely to buy the product. So then all this data is collected on all the people, and then they put it into their little algorithm, and it tells which people to show the ad to. Now, some people, they say, I don't want to have that. I don't want to be opted in to personal advertisements or whatever. I've had it on for a while. I thought, let me see what it looks like. Now I have it off. And people are concerned about privacy. Biometrics is extremely is sensitive information. In other words, how somebody exactly looks and whatever shouldn't be stored for the sale. Well, especially not like how somebody looks. I mean, if you could use a machine to recreate a biometric face, a facial feature of someone, to recreate it in a way that the other machine accepts it as real, then facial recognition is basically hackable. So to the extent that someone's collected all of this information on you, it may be that they are able to, hack your information. So states are now watching out for their constituents. In Illinois, they're watching out for people who have voiced concern over the privacy of their data. of their biometric private data. And now there's lawsuits with these civil penalties involved. Unfortunately, in California, it's looking like it's only $1,000 per day instead of $5,000. But, California's got to be careful because California would bankrupt a tech company or something with that. I mean, because you think about the tech company having to pay up to $5,000 per day on a violation that affected the entire population of California versus the entire population of Illinois. I mean, the catastrophic consequences of their actions. I mean, bankrupt population. Well, it's like a third the size, almost a fourth of the size. It's a lot of people in Illinois, So I'm sure most people had not downloaded the Snapchat lens. I did. But I'm sure there's like hundreds of thousands of downloads. So we're talking about millions of exposure for these tech companies on a population like that. And a population like California, could be big. So that's why they probably are keeping it down to only $1,000 because the tech companies are all in California. They're like, hey guys, let's keep that liability a little lower. Can we have some reform on us, please? And don't make it too bad when we get slammed by these lawyers. So, I want to put in a proposal to do $5,000 per violation, $5,000 per day, just like the Illinois statute. That's my proposal to Bob Wachowski. Senate Bill 1189 should be amended. More damages, just like the Illinois statute, so that Snapchat has to pay California residents who had their information potentially sold or sold in some type of bundle that could have potentially violated. Because we don't want to make the allegation that Snapchat necessarily violated the law, because technically these are just allegations and it's just a lawsuit. It's just a civil settlement. It's all done under the, guise of settlement, of spirit of settlement. You can infer, okay, if somebody pays you money to go away, that's not necessarily a win. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean you were right. Doesn't mean you weren't right. Doesn't mean you were wrong. Just doesn't necessarily mean you were right. Because the settlement means that the defendant and all the parties get certainty. They know what's going to happen in the future. They settle. And some people want settlement even if they did nothing wrong, or maybe there's just a slight question. They're not certain. So anyway, moving along here. That's our topic for today. If you are out there, you're listening to the stream, you can't see me because my camera's off. But if you're out there listening to the stream, we'll be on streaming at 10 a.m. tomorrow. This is Alexander Napolin, Attorney at Large, goes live every day, every weekday, 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Remember that the information you hear is not legal advice. It's informational only. This is an entertainment station. So you come in, you listen to the current event from a legal perspective. We talk about potential lawsuits, how they'll affect you potentially in the future. In this case, we were looking at the Illinois Snapchat lawsuit, whether or not it could take place in California. You might want to know this. Okay, this is important information because I think everybody's pretty concerned about their privacy rights and what happens with their social media accounts nowadays. And then I'll be taking your questions in the chat. So you just pop your question in the chat. You say, hey, Alex, I have a question. Remember, it's not legal advice. If you need legal advice, you need to contact a lawyer in your state. So if you're in California, you can give my office a call, 866-NAPOLIN. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in the chat. Okay, so that came up, 866-NAPOLIN. You can call my office for a free consultation. If you feel that your privacy rights have been violated by a tech company and you're out there and you're hearing my stream, you just want to know more about what your potential rights are, I'd be happy to speak with you about your situation, learn what you think happened. Maybe there's some type of privacy violation. But until this biometric law comes out, I mean, there's maybe some lawsuits there. But until it comes out, it would not be actionable. So we'd have to wait and see. It sounds like maybe Snapchat just wants to silence people, just pay off. Because if Snapchat was like not guilty and completely did not violate, why wouldn't they take it to court and say, we're going to crush these things. We're going to take care of this. This is going to get out of control. No, they just settled it. Again, what can you infer from it? I don't know. Maybe nothing. So yeah, Alexander Napolin, attorney at large, goes live every weekday, 10 a.m. for a 10 a.m. session and a 4 p.m. session. Follow me, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on our discussions, which I take submissions. If you're out there, you want to talk about a story, you want me to go over something, we're going to go over it. We're going to take your questions in the chat. Something to do, also something educational. Although it's not legal advice, you learn things on this channel. You hear from a lawyer, from their perspective, from my perspective. And I've done a lot of different areas of law. So if it's an injury situation, I'm going to put my perspective on that. Maybe I'll stay away from the heavy political topics of the constitutionality of what's going on with the raid on the Mar-a-Lago and stuff like that, because I think there's other people covering those just fine, and they can all talk about that. I don't know. Anyway, I'll be back on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Yeah, you can. I have a question in the chat. Thanks. Where? I do. It's napolinlaw.com. So you can visit my website, www.napolinlaw.com. And you can go ahead and leave your information in my chat on my website. If you have any questions, any concerns, that would be a way to privately contact my firm. We can help you anywhere in the United States. You just give us a call, and we'd be happy to speak with you to find out if we can provide you with a free and confidential legal consultation. Remember that all calls are confidential, but they do not create an attorney-client relationship. So give my office a call. We'd be happy to learn a little bit more about your situation. Send us a DM, a direct message. And if you need to reach me directly, there's links in the About section on my Twitch page. If you're on YouTube, you're going to find my website there. I am streaming live to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. You can reach me on my Discord. So if you're out there and you're on Discord, add my server, direct message me. There's a lot of materials on my Discord server that are going to potentially help you if you have legal situations. They're going to help you with a lot of different stuff. So go over there, check it out, and have a good evening, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m.